Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 19 of What If Naruto Was Abandoned and Awaken a Kekkei Genkai. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Exiled from the Otsutsuki clan over on Anime King 3. And enjoy that guys. And I also posted a brand new episode over on Anime King of What If Kaguya Fell for Naruto, a movie guys, so go ahead and enjoy that. And remember, if you're new, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the three channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, and Making 3. Yes, I have three channels that I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and check them out guys and enjoy. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode start? The intro. So the last time we left off, as Naruto stood in front of the coffins, he left Natsume behind with Hiruzen as she would help him handle the others. As Orochimaru looked towards Naruto, after figuring it out after Naruto said father, it was so easy to figure out, and not to mention Orochimaru was kind of a genius in his own right. So he was able to figure out who exactly Naruto was, and the glee on his face was intense as he realized that all this time, the boy that had been through everything was right in front of him. And not to mention to stroke his ego, Naruto told Orochimaru that he would tell his father everything. And Orochimaru was excited. He always hated Minato. To see the suffering and anguish on his face, knowing that he failed. That he failed to make the people see that his son was a hero. So he let Naruto off as Natsume and Sarutobi face off against the first and the second and Orochimaru. With that, Naruto took Minato towards the top of the monument before knocking him away with a vicious punch. Minato came back and saw Naruto sitting down as he sat beside him, as Naruto told him that he would show him everything. As Naruto then showed Minato his life, leaving out some points, thus giving him a vague description of everything. Minato was sick into his stomach when he saw everything that his son had been through. The man was visibly shaken in anger, rage, sadness, pain, as he couldn't believe it. His words could not really change anything from the past, as Naruto told him the same thing, as Naruto didn't care much for the villagers. He wasn't even angry at them anymore, he just didn't care about them. After all, he had someone in his life that he cared for. Minato was happy about that part, but he still couldn't believe it. He and Naruto had to fight because the both of them started a battle. Their battle ended up bringing them towards the stadium where Katsume and the others were, along with Kushina. Minato arrived as Kushina saw him. She rushed up to him instantly as she hugged him. He then turned his eyes towards her and asked her what the hell had she done. As she tried to claim that Naruto was a demon, he smacked her across the face. As she fell down to the ground, she was shaken by him. She tried to regain herself, but he shouted at her and he screamed at her, making her understand that Naruto went through a rebirth, that is why he looked that way. And the person that she has neglected his entire life was their son. Her mind was fighting itself not to believe it as she struggled. She visibly struggled as she clashed with herself, her beliefs. As she realized if that was true, she neglected her own child, and her mind was fracturing as she ran off, unable to face him at all. As the others made their way, as Valius did not really care about that, he think that the Hokage was being manipulated by the demon. But Katsume on the other hand, she apologized to Naruto, and she called him Big Brother. As she quickly made her way off, Minato had asked Naruto he was hoping that somehow that Naruto could, maybe, in one day forgive his family, but Naruto told him no. Minato did not question him on that, as he already accepted the fact that Naruto has been through too much to forgive and forget. The both of them had to end this as the both of them summoned a toad, and Naruto summoned a massive wolf. So yeah guys, that's basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place, check it out for yourself. So what is to begin this new episode Summoning Jutsu! Both father and son shouted. The dust left the air as Gamaken stood next to Minato, and next Naruto was a five-tailed fox. Oi, Jiraiya, I hope you didn't summon me to escape your rightful woman beaten, like the last time, the toad said. Same error, sensei. As Gamaken turned his head towards a voice that sounds strangely familiar, but it did not belong. His eyes widened. Minato? But how? Both Jiraiya and Gamabunta said that you were dead. Sorry, Gamaken. A lot has happened. To make a long story short, yes, I died. But Orochimaru used a jutsu to bring me back and used me as his slave. And now my son is my opponent. The toad, still surprised what the hell was going on, turned towards Naruto and the toad was shaken by his appearance. This is way too confusing, my old friend. But if you need my support, you have it. But are you sure? I mean, is that your son? Yes. And unfortunately I have no choice. I was ordered to do this. This jutsu is restraining my movements to fight my own son. I see. Although that is rather unfortunate, I must say, your son seemed to have grown up to be a rather good man. And I guess you were not kidding when you told Jiraiya that you call Kushina a fox and an animal in bed, giving your son a parent. Gamaken joked as Minato blushed in embarrassment, as he had to make Jiraiya pay for telling people about their private conversations. Meanwhile, Naruto and the fox were having a conversation. You have summoned me, Naruto-sama. I am Ankai, Nemoda. The fox said in a rather feminine tone. Yes, said Naruto. I will need your help to defeat my opponent. From your name I can assume that your main affinity is water, given the fact that the fox's name meant ocean tear. Beautiful name by the way, said Naruto. Yes, although I'm all-rounded in the base elements, my main affinity is water, with a touch of Hayaton. And thank you, Naruto-sama. Good, I was hoping for that. I'm glad that I summoned you. If you could be so kind, Enchan, some water. Yes, Naruto-sama. On the other side, it was nice catching up, Gamaken, but it seems you're ready too. Get down to it. If you would be so kind, some oil. Coming up, the toad said. A stream of water shot forward, along the stream of oil. Fire style. Toad oil flame bullet, said Minato, as he shot fireball out of his mouth that ignited the oil. As Naruto flashed Johan sign, lightning release. Karuna spike, he said. A literal spike of lightning burst from his arm and hit the tunnel of water, and he started to electrocute it. The two attacks converge before they slam into each other. The attacks seem to cancel each other out because of the elements within, as smoke filled the entire arena. Gamaken and Minato had to leap away as another electrified water pierced right through the dust, as Minato blasted another fireball right through the dust cloud. As the two teams started to fire off chaotic jutsus that tore apart the arena, but neither of them got the up on one another until they finally came to a stop. Sorry, my friend, but it seems I have no chocolate left, said Gamaken. It's fine. Thank you for helping me through these odd circumstances. Not a problem. Take care, Minato. As he poofed away. Before Minato could do anything else, Naruto finished a set of hand signs. Water release. Bursting water colliding wave. A torrent of water came from his mouth. It was so much, it submerged the entire arena up to the stands where the siblings were sitting down. Ancient, said Naruto. Yes, Naruto-sama. I can tell that you're almost out of chakra, and I'll send you back to recover soon. But do you have enough to completely freeze the top portion of this water, Naruto asked. Yes, I believe so, the fox said. Great, then after you do so, please go back and rest. You did a wonderful job, said Naruto. Understood, Naruto-sama. She crushed her front paws into the water, making the water turn to ice, at least a foot thick, leaving splashing water underneath. It's been a pleasure doing battle with you, she said, as she pulled out of existence. As Naruto landed on the ground, the moment he landed, he released his build-up chakra as purple wicks started to pull off his body like an ocean, as massive purple dragon wings came from his back. As Naruto blurred out of sight, Minato snapped his head around as he could not see Naruto anywhere, as Minato saw the ice cracking as the impacts of Naruto's steps were coming right towards him, but yet he could not see sun. He crossed his arms as Naruto's fist slammed into it. Minato was picked up and thrown as he crashed into the stadium. his body breaking through several chairs. Damn, his strength is insane. I fought Tsunade before, and yet she's not this strong. Lucky, this is not my actual body, or I will be coughing up so much blood right now, or probably even a lung. As he climbed out of the broken staircase, the moment he climbed out, a fist slammed into his jaw, breaking as he was thrown. Minato regained his bearings as he flashed away. As the two of them flashed around the arena with insane speed, the arena was being ripped apart as they connected all over, literally tearing the place up. Nothing was left untouched by the two as they moved quickly around the arena. Large holes and craters span all around as they connected. Minato finally made his way back towards the ice ground, but once he finally landed down, he couldn't see Naruto anywhere. Where did he go? Realization then hit him as he looked up. Damn it, above! Minato was too late as he saw Naruto. Right above him, he quickly crossed his arms. He couldn't jump away as the kick came down towards him. The moment the kick connected with him, he realized, as Naruto was already showing that he was stronger than Tsunade when it comes toward brute strength, and he was standing on ice. The ice gave way as he plummeted down into the cold, freezing water. As Naruto wasted no time, his plan was in motion. Lightning release. Karuna strike, he said. As Naruto plummeted his hand on top of the ice, the lightning shot down into the water and electrified it. Water exploded out of the cracks where the both of them had created in their earlier battle, as electrified water spread everywhere. Naruto pulled his hand up. He knew that his father wasn't an easy to take down, worst of all in that summoned body that seemed to be indestructible. Unfortunately, it seemed like he was correct as he started to feel vibrations coming down from below. A massive dragon made from pure water exploded out of the ice from behind him and hovered over him. The dragon slammed into him full force, picked him up and crashed him into the stadium that was already destroyed. As Naruto picked himself up rather quickly and looked towards his father that stood where the dragon had emerged from the ice, with a cocky smile on his face. I would be cocky too if I had a body that couldn't get destroyed. Naruto did not know why, but he didn't want the fight to end. Whether it was because it was his father or it was because of the strength that his father possessed. But he knew all good things had to come to an end. As he held his hand out as a Rasengan formed in his palm, Minato, seeing what his son was doing, formed a Rasengan as well. As the both of them moved, Naruto blasted off where the seats were. Minato leaped forward as the both of them catch each other in mid-air. Rasengan! The both of them said at the same time as their attacks collided. The ice underneath them exploded as the two titanic force smashed in together with tremendous strength, ripping apart the ice and their surroundings. I'm impressed, my son, said Minato. You've been taught well, and you have adapted all of those abilities to become a wonderful shinobi. Thank you, father. And although I heard rumors about your strength, I didn't think that you were this strong. Perhaps you'll be the strongest opponent that I would have the pleasure of fighting, said Naruto, with a smile on his face, despite the two energy balls clashing. It was then that Minato saw Naruto form another Rasengan in his other arm, as Naruto pushed that second Rasengan into the first one that he created. The surge was too much as the two Rasengans imploded. Minato was thrown back and so was Naruto. Minato pulled himself out of the crater. Either he's some kind of genius, or completely insane for pulling a stunt like that, Minato thought. As Naruto picked himself up, note to self, don't do that again. But it seems like I was correct. There's only one way to stop the jutsu. As Naruto looked around, as he saw a dead body of a sound shinobi in the far distance. As Naruto flashed away, Minato watched his son as he returned back with a dead body in his hand. As dragon wings came from his back once again. That jutsu again? Just how much chakra does he has? Minato thought to himself. Minato thought that the body would slow him down, but Naruto moved and his speed was just as fast. As Minato snapped his head behind him as Naruto appeared, his wings were gone. His hand was covered in a purple chakra, and he was holding on to the body. Minato was confused. Soul inhale, said Naruto, as he pushed his hand out and collided with Minato. Minato was confused. He felt like he was being pulled out of his own body. As he looked down, he saw his own body on the ground. What the hell? As Naruto's hand collided with Minato's corpse and ripped its soul out of that body, and he shoved that soul into the body of the Sound Shinobi. Once Naruto felt the merging was complete, he dropped Minato, who was coughing on the ground. "What did you do?" said Minato as he felt his throat was raspy, as he was not even registering that he was actually breathing again, as Naruto was panting after doing that. "I just brought you back to life. Welcome back to the land of living, father," said Naruto. Minato looked up in shock. "What?" "That jutsu allowed me to move while living soul into a corpse. It's the same jutsu I used to give Natsu-chan a living body." As he pointed at the summoning body of Minato, there was no ash, dirt, and a dead Son Shinobi. "So I'm really?" "Yes." "And he doesn't control?" "Yes." "Yes," said Naruto. Minato fell on his butt, as he was just shocked. He was truly alive once again. He was alive. As he took in a fresh breath, he started to chuckle, as his chuckle turned into a full-blown laughter. He laughed for a good few minutes, before he finally calmed himself down. "Well, if that's the case, my son," he said, "seems we have a village to save." As the both of them looked towards the purple barrier, as Naruto wondered how were the others doing. Meanwhile, with Haku and Hana, "Getsuga," said Hana, and she slammed, tearing through the side of a Son Shinobi, who fell to the ground, bleeding out to death. She nodded in approval when she saw Haku taking care of the final enemy in the vicinity. The area was filled with Son Shinobis and a few Konoha ones as well. Ever since the civilians got to safety, Konoha offensive attack was put into play. Haku and Hana just finished another section of the market district. "Nice job, Haku-chan." "Thanks, Hana-san." "How's your chakra?" "Pretty good actually. When you get past their surprise attacks and their sheer numbers, it's actually easy to pick them off." "I agree. And since that is the case, I think that we should split up for now, to reclaim the village faster and supply any backup Jennings that might be caught up in the fighting." "Yes, that appears to be a good idea. I'll take the east, and we'll meet up at Naruto-kun's house afterwards." "Yes, be careful, Hana-san." "You too, Haku-chan." As the both of them split apart, but that was the worst thing to do as Hana made her way. Something caught her attention, a Kona in the air. But then she felt something, but it was too late as a gloved fist slammed into her stomach with such force that she collapsed to her knees, unconscious. The strange cloaked figure picked Hana up and brought her in the shadows, going off with her, and no one suspected a thing. Meanwhile, with Natsume and the Hokage. "So, you have any ideas?" Kyuubi-san asked Sarutobi, as he was using Inuma in his staff form to hold himself up. "Not unless you have two corpses lying around that I can use," she said, as he looked at her like she had grew a second head. "Never mind," she said to him. Most of Sarutobi's armor was broken off at this point, facing off against the reanimations. Natsume looking physically better, because she had no cuts or bruises, but her clothing was tear. Her shorts, well, they were once pants, and not to mention her shirt had been torn badly. It didn't matter how much time they reduced the two Hokages to ashes, they reformed. So even though Natsume seemed to have unlimited chakra, constantly reducing the Hokages down to ashes and evading and fighting at the same time cost a lot of chakra, but yet the two brothers just kept on reviving themselves and returning for a battle. As the two brothers were in the process of healing right now as they fully recovered after Natsume just reduced them to ashes once again. As the two brothers dashed off to their prey. "Damn it, where's your boyfriend when we need him?" said Sarutobi as he prepared himself. But before they could arrive, both Hokages were sent sailing back by a blue spear. Two pair of men flashed in front of the group. One of them with a white coat with flames on the bottom, the other one with 5 tails flicking behind him. "You called, Jiji?" "Oh, and I'm her mate, not her boyfriend." Naruto joked as he turned a smile. "Naruto-kun," said Natsume. "Yes, and I brought a friend," as he poked his head towards Minato, who was simply smiling. The two looked at Naruto oddly until Natsume understood what he meant. "Welcome back, Minato-san," she said. "Thank you, Natsume-san." "Okay, someone mind explaining," said Sarutobi. "Yes, I too would also like to know what the hell is going on," Orochimaru said. "Sorry, but that would ruin the fun of figuring out how to undo your Edo Tensei," said Naruto. "Don't make me laugh, boy, you're far too young and inexperienced to understand the workings of my jutsu," Orochimaru said. "Let alone happen to learn a jutsu that could counteract it." "Well, unfortunate for you, sneak freak," said Naruto. "I happen to have a very wise demoness on my side, not to mention a genius doctor friend and researcher. So, my dear sneaky friend, there are many impossible things that can happen in this world. One of those to be my father being resurrected." "Nice bluff," Orochimaru said, But I'm not buying it. You stupid fool. Why do you think I tried so hard to stop you from putting that talisman in his body? If you would have, he wouldn't have given me enough time to think of a way to free him. And because you're a sadistic freak and you want to see him in pain because of what I went through, I use that against you. So thanks to you, sneak freak, I found a way to do so. As Naruto bowed his head in a mock sign of respect. This child Orochimaru thought would rage. He played me. Me, Orochimaru of the Sun, and he played me. Using my hatred of that man. Seems I underestimate him. If not for this situation, he would be a nice bud to take over. Or perhaps, a good subordinate of mine. Well played, child. But it doesn't matter. Your group is tired from fighting my summons. And with only you and Minato, I doubt that the both of you stand a chance. Well, that doesn't matter, does it, Orochimaru, said Minato. And pray tell, dear Minato-kun, what do you mean by that? Well, it's simple. The way my son revived me, it made me figure out another way to defeat your two other reanimations. As he started to go through hand signs, a set of hand signs that Natsume and Sir Toby knew immensely well. Minato-kun, you can't really think of using it again, Sir Toby shouted. What's this jutsu? Said Naruto. The Shiki Fusion, said Sir Toby. Sorry everyone. But as I said, it's the only way to win. As he realized that jutsu had took a lot out of Naruto. And right now the group was physically exhausted. And Orochimaru would not stop until they were dead. So he had to. And technically, I've been dead for over a decade. So even if my son revived me, with me using his jutsu, no one will question it. That doesn't mean anything. Your son revived you. Let me be the one to give my life this time. You've already died protecting this village once. After all, I'm old, and I'm going to retire after this. But retiring after saving the village by paying the ultimate sacrifice is a far better way than dying as an old man. Sorry, but I'm afraid that you don't have enough chakra to summon the Shinigami. More or less pull 3 souls away with you. And since Naruto revived me in this state back, I came back with my full additional chakra. So, this is the only way, he said. I've sacrificed my life for this village once, and I saw the rotten fruits of my sacrifice. Let me do things right this time by doing so for my family, not the village, but my family. For once in my life, I want to be a father, husband, and friend first, and Hokage second, he said, as the 3 of them didn't know what to say, as he couldn't take away this personal and final request. As Naruto walked towards him and placed a hand on his father's shoulder. I may not like it, but I understand, father, personally. I would rather you live the life I gave you, but if you're certain this is the only way, I won't stop you. I'm behind you, and I'm proud of you. I'll buy you the time that you need to complete the jutsu, said Naruto. Minato nodded as he silently thanked them for helping him, and respecting his wish. Kill them all, Orochimaru said. Despite being severely weakened, Naruto used that jutsu to bring back Minato, and the 2 others facing off against the undead Hokages. They fought as best they could to hold them back, until Minato finally finished his jutsu. As Orochimaru was cursed that Ito Tensei to kill Minato, but they couldn't get past the 3 ninjas that were blocking their way. As Minato finally finished the Shiki Fusion, everyone stopped as the place became cold. There behind Minato stood a spectral being, the Shinigami. Who summons the Shinigami? A voice that felt like death itself. I have, said Minato. The Shinigami peered down towards Minato. You have already summoned me once before, and used your soul as a price. How did you escape your fate? Unfortunately, that is a long explanation, said Minato. But long story short, I was summoned back to this world by a Kinjutsu, and my soul was placed in a body, and I was brought back to the land of living. And now I need your help to free 2 souls that have been taken as well. And also, take the soul of a summoner of the jutsu. While I do not approve with the situation that is going on at hand, I am honored bound as a god to not directly interfere with the mortal plane. So be that as it may, I will repeat the process you had me do all those years ago. Who are the 2 that are your brethren, and the summoner you spoke of? Minato pointed towards the Hokages, and then at Orochimaru, who was afraid. Understood. You realize that you will be sacrificing your soul a second time. And this time, I will make sure that you won't escape. That's a promise. I accept the terms and I understand, said Minato. Farewell. Prepare yourself, mortal. The Shinigami hands went through Minato back, and 3 arms burst through his stomach. Orochimaru's eyes went wide. "Drop the barrier!" he screamed. As Orochimaru saw that the first got caught and his soul was being ripped out of his body, as he forced Second Hokage to jump in front of him, as the hand that was about to rip out his soul ripped the Second Hokage's soul out. The Sound 4 deactivated the barrier, and Orochimaru leaped off. The Sound 4 quickly jumped in after him, but the other hand was still coming as Orochimaru cursed. "Jirobo," he said. "Yes, Orochimaru-sama. Good work." As snakes exploded from Orochimaru's sleeve and grabbed Jirobo. As the hand was coming, he tossed Jirobo right in the path. The hand shoved right through Jirobo, grabbing onto his soul. "Not even you can beat me, Fourth Hokage. Until we meet again," Orochimaru said, as he fled. "Damn it," said Minato as he fell to a knee. "Sorry everyone," he said. "Seems that bastard got away again." "Don't worry about him," said Naruto. "His luck will run out soon enough." Minato smiled at that as he looked toward his son. As he gave him a smile, "I'm glad that you will be able to protect the ones closer to you with your strength. But never forget, not only do you need strength of the body and mind, but the strength of the heart to protect the ones that you love." As he nodded, "Natsumai son." As Natsumai raised her eyebrow, as she looked towards the Hokage, "I've been meaning to say this ever since I saw my son's memories. Thank you. Thank you for taking such good care of him, when no one else would. I'm not completely sure of your reasons for doing so, but I'm glad he has someone like you in his life. But more importantly than that, I would like to apologize for what I did to you all those years ago. I was young, brash, and scared shitless when you came roaring towards the village, and I jumped towards conclusion before giving you a chance to explain why you were here in the first place. And for those reasons, I'm really sorry," he said. "Well, you certainly should have think it over, but the past is the past, and not even Naruto can blame me for what happened that day. So in response, I can't truly blame you either. There are many people at fault. So, apology accepted." As he smiled at her, "Sarutobi." "Yes, Minato," said Sarutobi. A smirk came on Minato's face. "Good luck with the paperwork." "You ass," said Sarutobi. "It's time," the Shinigami interrupted. Minato gave them all a smile as the Shinigami removed his soul, as Naruto caught his body and placed it down towards the ground. "Kekkei," said Sarutobi, "get your remaining man and help out in remaining battles that are happening in the village at this moment. And Kekkei, what you just witnessed here is a secret." As the envoy nodded, as he flashed away. "We should get going," said Naruto. "Yes, let us. We have a snake to skin alive, preferably while screaming and begging for mercy," said Natsumai, with a sadistic grin on her face. Meanwhile, as Orochimaru was currently standing up, "Kill as many as you can," he said. As he looked towards his son, 3 that remained. There was many Konoha shinobis that were at the gates that were facing off against Sound shinobis, and all of them turned their sight towards him as he regurgitated the Kusanagi blade and moved forward to cut down the Konoha shinobis in his path to get the hell out of this village. "I'm afraid they're not going anywhere," said the voice. Orochimaru spat as he turned to see Naruto standing there. "You're faster than ever, Naruto-kun," he said. Before either group attacked, Kabuto appeared with someone in his arms. As Naruto's eyes turned murderous, as Kabuto whispered something to his master, a wicked smirk came on Orochimaru's lips as he grabbed Hana and raised her and placed the Kusanagi right against her throat. Orochimaru licked his lips. "It seems like Kabuto information about you and this young woman is correct, Naruto-kun," he said. "If so, I suggest you step back and don't do anything or she might just die." By now the fight in the era had concluded with Konoha winning the majority of them. Orochimaru's remaining forces were all gathered around him, as the majority of ninjas were the Konoha clan heads who stood up on top of the roof looking down, as Orochimaru only saw one way to get out of here alive, as he saw the murderous look in her eyes, and that was using Hana as a hostage. Kimimaro then appeared out of nowhere with someone else in his arms, as he had his back faced to the group, so they could not see who it was. "Orochimaru-sama, I thought you would like this." As he showed off the young girl to his leader, Orochimaru chuckled at his luck as he gazed at the child. "So, I finally have one of the things I've been hunting for, the body of a Uzumaki." "Very good, Kimimaro. Let Kabuto handle her." Natsumai and Naruto was shocked when they saw who the girl was, as the girl was finally brought around as they could see her face. Katsumi. To make matters worse, a small child was shouting, "Mom! Mom!" As Sarutobi's eyes snapped. "I thought all the civilians were brought to the shelter," he said. "Oh, this is just perfect," Orochimaru thought. As he extended the Kusanagi and sliced the building behind her. As the building started to fall, the girl turned and screamed. As no one could reach her in time until, boom, the building was stopped. Everyone was surprised they saw Naruto standing there, as he held out the building with nothing but sheer strength. "Moka-chan," said Naruto. He remembered her quite well. At the vet. "Are you okay?" he said. Yes, mister, but how do you know my name?" As she did not know this man in front of her. "No problem. Just sit tight. I'll protect you," said Naruto. The Konoha ninjas were confused. Why was the demon protecting someone? As the girl still looked afraid. "Oh, I know you from when my son told me that he helped you with your dog, Yoshi." As she didn't remember. "Naruto," she said, as he gave her a nod. As he used his tails to wrap her around. My, I never thought I would see you, of all people, protecting someone from this village, Naruto-kun," said Orochimaru. "I could never blame her for the ignorance of her parents," said Naruto, "especially after what I went through myself. I am not that ignorant." "Good for you then," Orochimaru said. "At least you're smarter than most of the people around here. But too bad they won't ever realize that, because they hate you. And it's because of the Kyuubi." As he turned his head towards Natsumai while saying that, the Konoha shinobi that didn't know her true nature raised the eyebrow towards her, but they did not focus on that right now. "But alas, I've overstayed my welcome. It's time for me to leave. Sayonara, Naruto-kun, and everyone else." As Orochimaru smirked towards Naruto before, the Kusanagi extended at super fast speed. Naruto-kun, Natsumai screamed out, unable to reach him in time. As Naruto was busy holding up the giant building from crushing the girl, unable to just slip from underneath it. As the sword ripped through his chest, as Natsumai's eyes went wide. He might be immortal and have a demon healing ability, but an injured heart is very life-threatening. As the building started to creak forward, but yet it did not fall. As Naruto's head dropped, but still the building did not fall on him. My, how the mighty have fallen," Orochimaru said. "You're in that pitiful state because you're protecting someone from this village. I doubt that you will survive this, but I'll make sure my man take good care of your girlfriend." "All of you, hold them off," Orochimaru said. He gave them a dead glare they had to listen, as Orochimaru flashed away with the remaining sound for Kimimaro and Kabuto. "Go after him," said Sarutobi. As the sound shinobis back up until they felt it, a chakra was released. It was so deadly that hundreds collapsed. As the chakra was so violent and corrupted, it made many fall that were unable to bear the will of it. Sarutobi started to sweat as he heard, "They're coming, no." He turned and realized Natsumai was the one that said that. As Sarutobi followed her sight of vision, as he saw a red aura surrounding Naruto. Strange red tentacle whips that were coming from his body from nothing but the chakra burned and incinerate everything they touched. An inhuman growl came from his throat. The ground cracked and ripped apart. The onlookers watched his transformation with fear, as they felt the same dreadful feeling from that night. It felt even more deadly. Natsumai was worried, fear in her face, and not to mention curiosity. Her vision allowed her to see past the aura and see Naruto's face, and what she saw made her shake. As his eyes were closed and yet red mist was coming from them, his mouth and his body seemed to be releasing a mist that was burning the air itself. "What's happening?" asked Natsumai to herself, but Kakashi was close enough to hear her. He then roared. Boom! The entire building exploded into dust. The 3-story building that he was holding up turned into dust, as all of them had to shield their eyes. As Naruto whisker marks, they came straight down toward his face like a tiger. His claws were longer, 3 inches to be exact. His hair turned crimson red, and at the end of it, each spike it was pointed, like a drill ready to strike out. Many of the Konoha shinobis were reminded of Jiraiya needle hair technique, but his eyes were blood red and red. A red mist was seeping from the corner of his eyes. His final change was a tail. He now had 6 tails behind him. Natsume looked behind her as she only saw 3 tails. Demonic. Bloodless, said Natsume. Demonic bloodless? Sarutobi said confused. As Moka was on the ground, the girl was completely fine. She was just there unconscious. An ability. No, more like a curse. For those who have been subjected to levels of demonic chakra out of their complete control. She explained as she saw Naruto test out his limbs, like he just finished another rebirth. Haven't you wondered why he hasn't been seen with more than 5 tails when I'm the Kyuubi, she said. It's because if he or anyone else like him call upon more demonic chakra, they can control it. But it has an ultimate consequence. Everything about him, his strength, his speed, his reflex, his chakra reserves, is up 2-fold. But the bloodlust, the demonic bloodlust, has now reached a point of insanity. A price of only being half demon, and his consciousness would be wiped clean in this state. All that is left is a bloodthirsty killing machine who cannot tell friend from foe, and will not stop killing until there is nothing left around them. My Naruto-kun, she said, this shouldn't have happened to such a person like you. I can't forgive myself for not knowing and stopping this. Tears streaming down her face as she saw him in such a state. Kakashi and Sarutobi were shocked to what they just heard. Neither of them could comprehend of what was exactly going on, but what they do know was that everyone around Naruto was in danger right now. As he took a step forward, he then blinked away out of reality. He was there one moment, next he was just gone. They then heard terrified screams. They snapped their heads around, and the sight that they witnessed would be etched in their memory for the rest of their life. Standing in the middle of the Sound Shinobi was Naruto. His tails were through 6 of the Sound Shinobis, literally through their skull, as he brought them up in the air and tore them apart. Flesh, blood, organs fell to the ground. His body released a steam that incinerated all the blood off of him. But his eyes looked empty, like he just hadn't done anything. The demon, one of the remaining Sound Shinobi, said as he fell on his butt trying to run away. As Naruto moved and stomped in his throat, a cracking sound could be heard. As Naruto reached down and gripped his mouth and tear it right open, tearing his head off. He then vanished and grabbed another Sound Shinobi by the skull before squashing it with both of his hands. His tail then stabbed through another one before stabbing him again and again and again and again. As the man was already lifeless, Naruto moved and teared the man's chest cavity open. Is there any way to stop him? Asked Sarutobi. As he realized when Naruto was finished with those Sound Shinobis, he was then come after them. As Natsume clenched her fists. I've never heard of a way to stop this. From those who have witnessed it in the past, the bloodlust usually run out after some time, and the individual return back to normal, she said. As Naruto squashed the final Sound Shinobi, as Naruto reached up and licked the blood off his hand, the remaining Konoha Shinobis started back away in fear. As Sarutobi knew that he had to do something. Everyone fall back, said Sarutobi. Get away. As many of them started to move, Naruto's eyes snapped towards them. As Natsume turned as she saw Sarutobi and the others behind her. As she saw the hungry look in Naruto's eyes, a prey was trying to escape its predator. No, said Natsume. You don't get it, she said. If you run, you will just make him enjoy the chase even more. As of this moment, all of your lives are in his hands. As that dawned on everyone there, they couldn't do anything to stop him. But if we attack him, said Guy, certainly, all of us can take him down. You people don't understand. Nothing can stop him at this point. You people always call him a demon, a monster when he was a child. And still, even to this day, when he was only wanted to be treated as a human being. But now your words have come full circle. And now you're gonna face a demon that you always treated him as. A demon not even I can stop. Said Natsume as tears are in her eyes as she looked towards the beast that her lover has become. As none of them noticed, the small blue-haired girl got up. As she walked over. Naruto's father, are you okay? You look kinda funny, said Moka. Everyone's eyes widened when they noticed how close the girl was to Naruto. No, Sarutobi yelled, as Naruto turned his eyes towards the young girl. But guys, be insubscribed right here if you want the next person to do Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King 3 of What If Naruto was exiled from the Asusuke clan, and enjoy that, guys. And also, over on Anime King, I post a brand new series. What if Kaguya fell in love with Naruto and joined him? So go ahead and check out that and enjoy, guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And yes, guys, I indeed have 3 channels: Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And yeah, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.